right. Hello, everyone. Eric Watson here. Welcome to Chat for the Lost Plane, our weekly live-streamed post-session discussion where we talk about what just happened during D&D. This is the chat for session 13, so if you haven't watched that session yet, please go do that now. There will be spoilers discussed here. DM Chris is here.
Hello.
Player Raymond.
Hello.
Perform double duties. So yeah, we'll talk about that, which is always tricky to do.
It was a minor amount of frustration.
Yeah. God, I can't even imagine too at level 5, well, I guess 14 for Tim, but that's gonna be
Heather had
so
a little bit
hard.
easier. Killian had one like core thing she could do if she ever didn't. She's got spells, but she could always do her phase X thing.
Yeah.
Tim, however, his attack is like default. Like it's not what he should be doing.
Yeah.
So
Everything was
going
like some
through his
fancy
spells,
spell.
I don't even know what half his spells do. So.
Yeah.
I was afraid to cast spells after that initial one because of that green slot aura.
That's true.
Oh, that's also fair. Yeah.
And it was like 30 feet. I don't know if I'm supposed to know that or not, but 30 feet was pretty far. He had to be
Yeah.
like on the other side of the red slot to be 30 feet. So
Right.
I'm like, well, I can't do anything if he's dead, but I wouldn't necessarily walk away from the blue slot to go target the green one.
Yeah. And
Right.
honestly, one of Tim's best things is to sit there and tank, which he did.
That's true. Yeah. Just be
He literally tanked that blue slot almost 100%. That blue slot ended up doing like almost nothing.
Blue slot took almost no damage, but neither did Tim's.
That's true. It was just they were just kind of bashing it and like.
That's why I
nothing.
made that joke about the two of them just oil wreshling at one
Yeah.
point because they're just not doing anything.
There wasn't a lot actually going on.
They're just dancing over there.
But yeah, he did have a flame strike, which is that like cylinder of fire. That's
Oh,
what I'm
yes.
doing on the green and the white one that were standing next to each other.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to risk turning him into a slot.
That's interesting
Right.
to put that kind of hazard. I don't know what to call that. Challenge extra modifier. To
Yeah,
where you have to
it's-
make a risky choice to cast any kind of spell to incur.
Yeah. It's kind of the spell version of the Medusa thing where it's like, okay.
Yeah.
on the,
Well,
it's
yeah.
a
We have
bit-
to like avert your eyes or something.
yeah. But on this one, it's like, well, so the actual spell thing is just the disease. Which actually, in hindsight, Raymond, I think Tim's immune to disease. Being a Warforged, I think.
Oh, all of the effects were diseases.
Yeah. All the effects were diseases.
Okay.
Mm.
They're all classified as diseases.
Oh, so Scarlet's gonna be great in this fucking dungeon then. Put her in front.
We'll have to look next time.
Although that one, the one with the green slot, the extra thing that it does, where if anybody drops to 0 within 30 feet of them, that's not a disease. That's just an instantaneous effect. If anyone drops to 0 within 30 feet of that green slot, they become a slot.
Wait, not even have to do with the. I thought those are just if you fail the.
No, it's a separate thing. Just if anybody drops to 0 in 30 feet of him,
What? That seems crazy.
it's crazy.
That's a good chance of becoming a slot then. All you have to do is fall to 0 within 30 feet. Holy
Yep.
crap.
Yeah, kind of makes them. And you guys did target him pretty quickly.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that effect go. And that wasn't a reaction or anything, it's just always on.
Yep, just an
Wow.
always on thing. They've all got passive things with their attacks, or they're just things that do diseases. The red and blue both have their claws.
Yeah.
The red's the only one that actually impregnates. The blue one gives you a different disease that like slowly whittles your health over. Like every time you take a rest, your max health goes down by a certain amount.
What challenge rating are these? Well, I don't know how much you want to.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
sounds like we're about
you're
to
not
head
you're
into a
not you're not
dungeon.
quite done with them yet.
Yeah, that's true. I'm fascinated though. I've never. I had that one. Obviously, we had that one famous slot in our last dungeon, which was a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah, he was. And yeah, reading about him in since then, they're interesting sort of high level monsters.
Campaign.
But yeah, like I said earlier, also a lot of his spells are more manipulating or status effect type
Yeah,
spells, and
that's very true.
it was hard to decide it was appropriate to like blind a frog, you know.
So
Right.
my opening move would have been to walk over and do the fear cone on the blue and the green. I believe they were right in line with each other, and that was going to be my play. But then I saw Raymond as Tim cast. I think it
Yeah.
was that mantle spell.
Yep.
And that effect went off, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And that's what made me not do it. But in hindsight, I wonder if even if I had failed the save and taken some damage, like it might have still been worth it because I think they had pretty crappy whiz saves. Like, God, I mean, fearing those guys would have been pretty effective.
Right.
I think we were more afraid of that drop to 0.
Yeah,
thing
that was
really
that was freaky.
Scary.
To see that. All those things can like turn you into slods.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
They're pretty messed up monsters.
I didn't understand what you were going with for this the longest time. I was like, is he really just gonna throw this random ass slot encounter at us as like part of a fight? And then you were like, and then when you started mentioning like, oh, this happened at the end of the long rest, it's like, okay, so he's got something else planned. And then I didn't realize until you got to the end where you're like, no, this is gonna be your dungeon right here. I was like, oh, okay.
This was a bit of a switcheroo on you guys, I'll admit, in terms of I told you were going, which you still could have if you wanted to. Really, just said, "Fuck you, right, Crash. We're going to the island."
Yeah, technically.
Fuck your friend. If you really want, I was prepared for if you guys did that.
Yeah.
But it in terms of like the narrative through line, it was a bit of a curveball. We're like, oh, you guys, you think you're going here, but you're actually going here.
Which I did that in Tomb all the time too. I mean, I popped up like
Yeah.
locations that you're coming across, and
Right.
suddenly you're doing this now.
Yep.
I don't know if you can share this, but the whole session pretty much started because Tim threw the lighted rock.
Yeah, talk about
Slavic aware. What
you
if?
guys you guys didn't fuck that up, but you guys.
because you mentioned. I remember your attitude was like, "Oh shit!" Like here we go again,
Yeah.
or something. Like I was like, "Wait, how? Well, how is this supposed to go down?"
Tim should have immediately woken you guys all up, like he had been doing. I feel like that would have been probably the that would have saved you guys all of that laying down time at the very least. What the slod were doing was very slowly just creeping up on you guys.
Oh, like woken us up instead of throwing the stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What happened was the slod were slowly just inching their way towards you, being as stealthy as they could. And I actually did roll these to see how Tim's got a pretty high passive perception. So I was like, okay, if their stealth rolls get past his and the blue slot failed. Blue slot has the worst, I think, dex of all four of them.
Oh, and so you're flavoring that as like you're hearing this.
Yep. So Tim could have woken you all up at that point. I say Tim like I'm blaming Reese, but I'm actually blaming Ray.
I kind of feel like Tim would maybe do that though. Like
yeah, for sure.
I kind of like that.
But by throwing the light, it was just like with a slide, we're just like, all right, well, we're going now. Let's run at him. So that's what happened.
See, in hindsight, I mean, I didn't realize it was enemy.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
but
for all you know, it could have been something benevolent. Yeah.
Well, the smart thing is you didn't put us on the battle map
until
after that occurred. So we're the whole time we're thinking, okay, this could be like a little animal or that little monkey thing that like walked in front. Like,
we've had enough of those like little tiny of like feet of the mind events thus far to where I was hoping you guys would not necessarily immediately go like, oh,
so he's just doing something funny, and you're like, oh no, this is a serious fucking battle. Now we're going to a battle map, and now you're rolling for initiative. We're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So did you? Obviously, one of them could just dispel magic to get rid of the HUD, and then okay. Which that's the advantage of fighting high level units is because you almost always have a chance of like, oh, I can immediately destroy your safety zone.
Exactly. Yeah. So the opening moves were before the surprise round, which this is what I decided was what initiated it, was the green slide cast a spell magic. That was like the pre-combat, pre-initiative roll
use action because it's already before. Yeah.
Once he did that, then I had you guys roll the surprise round, which Tim was aware of, and then all the slots were aware of.
Yeah.
Green slot cast fireball. I don't know if you guys could even tell because he was invisible, but the white slot is the one who cast the radiant blast that did fireball or fireball-esque.
I don't think we were even
effects.
Track at that point, like what was going
on.
It
was just total chaos.
Like we're all getting blasted by something.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of how that played out.
It's still pretty crazy though to look at how much hit point scale in the higher levels for D&D, because even as devastating as it sounds to cast a fireball and a radiant blast at the party, I still have 80% of my hit points at the end of that.
Right.
Like it's crazy. Like, and those should be like big, devastating, like scary spells, but we have so many hit points.
It is very interesting, and that's
I'm not saying like come kill me. I'm just saying like this is like the way. I don't know, like that danger level.
What I may actually change the way as experimentally, I may change the way I scale things a little bit, because what I thought initially was that high level players could equal equivalent numbers of high level enemies, or it could also equal an excessive number of low-level enemies.
Yeah.
What I'm finding is that that's not true.
Yeah.
Low-level enemies just literally cannot stack. Even if you, it's like multiplying by 0.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you any more. I could have added, a dozen red slots. Wouldn't have mattered. They were barely, they only hit once every 4 attacks.
Right.
So it's kind of like.
I mean, law of averages. It would. I mean, it would matter, I think, at some point, but it wouldn't make the fight. It would make the fight a lot worse because it's just adding that much more hit points and not that much more
And the one thing I'll say about CR in this is just that in terms of your guys' level, green's slightly is close, white's kind of at your level, and red and blue are pretty much lower than you. So
literally CR 13, 14, 15, like that stuff.
Yeah, for the white.
Wow. Okay. Really slots.
So there's a bunch of slots.
Okay.
It's a variety of slots. Run the gamut.
I love a variety of slots.
But yeah, so the weaker ones, it just what I'm finding, especially weaker enemies that rely on attack rolls. You guys have so many AC and abilities that make them not be able to hit you or do things to you.
Sorry, an ornament just fell off my tree. Just
oh
shattered.
Boy, that's what that. Oh no.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a cat that walked by or what. If that just fell down. An ornament. Oh. No. Let me check out. Keep talking.
That's I'm looking at the chat, and that's kind of what I'm coming to the conclusion is I need to make sure that my monsters have a high enough chance to hit that they have any chance to ever hit. Because at this point, there's some monsters that I feel like their chance of hitting a Tim or a Scarlet is 2% chance of ever hitting them. Looking at the examples. Yeah, so having just slightly better attack. I don't even think I necessarily need to pump up the health, but bumping up their attack so that they're a little bit more meaningful while they're there. That's ornaments if you have cats. What was a CR on that encounter?
I mean, didn't want to have him a +8 or something.
Yes, the white slot did. The white slot, and that's the one I said that is at your actual level.
I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. I don't think that those kinds of fights are necessarily bad. Those sort of lots of smaller enemies that you guys can take down slightly easier, or that can't hit you very well. But in terms of giving you a challenge, I think it's gonna have to be some slightly tougher guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what is everybody's AC? We got Tim with a rollicking 23, Scarlet with a 20, Gillian with an 18, Kaylin with a 17, and Kethra with a 16. So I don't know if you guys average that out. I don't know what that average is. Is it like a 18, 19 average? 19 maybe? I don't know. But yeah, so the ACs are very high. So a red slot with a plus. Character sheets aren't loading up again. I think the red slot had a +3. I think. I don't remember. Yeah, we were also having roll 20 problems tonight. I don't know why that was. At least I was. I'm having them again. My character sheets won't open back up for me to check what their plus to hit was. There we go. Red slots have a +6 to hit, so it's not terrible. Yeah, that's true. That's true, because the conditions I think are what scared my players tonight more than anything else.
Yeah,
the attacks weren't worrying them too much, but those diseases were freaking them out a good bit.
We hadn't seen that yet. Anything that can transform your character into a monster is
no good.
A bit of an eyebrow raiser for sure.
Yep. But yeah, you guys held your own. You guys, I think all of you took about like 20% damage. You all got down to that like 75.
I mean, it was mainly
mark.
that opening volley that did it.
Yeah.
And afterwards, it was all. I think I was able to shut down. Well, Scarlet made everybody immune to fear for that green slot attack. I shut down the white slot twice, and then I don't think the red or blue could really land very many hits.
Right. Yeah.
So once we were actually like engaged properly, we could kind of shut them down a little better.
And the slots, I don't only. Well, I can give this away just because it's not too big a deal. They're not classics. They're not spellcasters in the sense of like they have spell slots and all that.
It's like they can do a couple per day, I think, or something.
Yeah, they once they use a spell, they basically can't use that spell again. So it's like biological. It's built into them.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, that death slot was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that would have been a fun enemy because I think it could go invisibility at certain points, and then maybe that was one other spell it could do.
Yeah,
but like at will invisibility is like the perfect thing for a recurring enemy, like
for sure. Although you canceled it this time.
I did.
So
that was probably a waste because I mean, who cares if it gets away? I don't know if you're gonna even keep track of like this enemy's still alive. It might be an addition.
You don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know how many slots were on there, or
that's true.
Whether he would have reconnoitered and come back after you. You don't know. Just know that he was trying to leave. The DM was trying to remove him from the guild.
You were. At what point do you decide like they are trying to escape because this is what they should do, or they're trying to escape because it's getting late, we need to wrap this fight up?
No, honestly, you guys just did too well. You got I had written down when they get to about 30 to 40% of their health, of their max health, they will talk to each other, which it's actually kind of unfortunate you guys couldn't actually talk to them at all, but if you could hear, they had a whole conversation going amongst themselves.
Oh man.
But they would decide to leave at about 30%.
And cast tongues or something,
I suppose. But what happened instead is that instead of them leaving when they got to 30% health, you guys would put them at 50% health, and then the next turn you would murder them. You would take them from 50 to 0.
Yep.
Oh wow.
So they never got to that like breakaway point.
Yeah, and that's what the dice. I mean, that's what the high level combat will do. Because I mean, Scarlet did like what 40 damage. And, like, he's not looking like he's looking kind of bad. Like, oh, he's near death now.
He's looking, yep. Which I mean, and I'll tell you what I meant by that was that literally he went from kind of bad, which was half his health, to real bad, which is like a quarter of his health left. So she had a quarter of his health basically with that one turn. So he was just
The damage output is insane. I mean, Raymond can literally do a fireball is 8d6. He can literally just add a fireball to his attack once per round.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
But because the dice could either make 20 damage or 40 damage with just that roll.
Yeah, exactly. It could be anywhere in between. Yeah, the darkness and fog was supposed to be more of a environmental hazard too, but you guys kind of got around that, which I appreciated. Like, we're like, we're just gonna put torches around the camp, and that kind of got rid of your whole light problem.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at what everybody could see throughout, and in a before you guys put those torches down, when I had made the map, it was Scarlet and Tim couldn't see hardly anything.
Yeah. That's a tricky. One of my topics I always have or not always, but lately for the DM roundtables is about light and darkness and dark vision and how much. I mean, I guess it should be a factor, but it becomes an interesting handicap in a virtual tabletop because literally it like detracts from your experience when you cannot see as much, even though it's supposed to be. Some players are supposed to technically have the dark vision more than others, but if you're literally all playing on a VTT together, that creates this extra layer of. Like, I literally can't see what's going on, and it almost makes me like, I need to play something with dark vision, like, all the time.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part about this is that in theater of the mind, even if you're not able to see what's going on around you, you can at least hear the DM describe what's going on.
You're in it together, that's what I'm saying. In a VTT, you're literally, like, you're handicapped that much further.
Yeah. Which is, that is a very serious handicap and sort of a bummer. However, I think vision in dark and light is a big deal. I think it should be a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a difference.
So it's kind of hard to balance that, almost like you want as a player, or
I mean, there are entire spells that are like darkness is like just putting things in dark, or fog cloud is a spell. Like that's definitely. Was the fog still supposed to be a thing though, or was that just canceled by the light?
Kind of canceled by the light, by you guys putting the light out. Okay. You guys pretty much saw as far as you needed to see with that.
See, if you had a slot that could like somehow snuff the torches or something.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about like actually putting the torches out. That's interesting.
Blend us in darkness, and then like to force other players to use an action to light things up again. I don't know.
Right. Usually, what happens is just Tim or Scarlet will light a light.
Yeah. In fairness, though, I think that has to be an action. I mean, the light spell is an action.
Yes,
so I would think that lighting an object would be an action.
Yep. Usually, these are usually something they have to do outside of combat. Yeah.
And I take it this was your opening. Like we long rested. We had this fight now, so we're at the beginning of this dungeon essentially already.
Are you starting to see a pattern?
I am starting to see a pattern. You like weaken us with the initial fight, and then say, "Okay, now you've already long rested," and assume we're probably not going to get a long rest for, which is probably how it should be with high level.
D&D is not built for. And I did this a couple times in Storm Kings, and it was fine the first couple times I did it, and the later couple times I did it, it didn't work at all, and I stopped doing it. It's not built for those one combat a day encounters.
Yeah.
Where like you're traveling, and then you have a fight, and you're totally rested, and you just fucking blow it away with everything you got, because why not? Then you rest at the end of that day. It's just not built that way.
Although I remember talking to you guys back in like Princes and said that, that could be kind of fun though, to be able to have a fight and do all the things.
Some of them were, especially in Storm Kings. I remember some of them where you guys could actually fight a giant in a one day event.
Just use all your shit
and use all your shit to take down this big guy. And that's,
I guess if it's scaled appropriately, then it does get more interesting.
Yeah. But there are some of the ones where like, you're being like, I don't know, ambushed by bandits on the road, but the players know it's the only thing that's gonna happen that day.
Yeah. The whole random encounters, overland map resting. That I definitely have problems with all of that. I will be revisiting and looking at how to improve that for the next campaign. And what I like what you've been doing with this one, although the rules are a little different with being such high level, but essentially like you're basically not going to have an encounter unless it's going to be a meaningful one that then leads to pretty much the next area.
Right.
Just montage.
That's right. So this session was basically all fight. We had the little bit of travel.
Fight, yeah.
It was a big fight. Yeah. Well, honestly, I mean, every time we have these like in between dungeon sessions, a good amount of time is spent like traveling and doing the level up stuff.
Yeah, that's true. We leveled up. We explored a little. Yeah, we did the travel.
The only really travel thing we had was you guys seeing the angels, you guys seeing the battlefields.
Oh yeah, did you have that prepared? If we just like fucking started shooting at those angels?
Sure. You guys could have done it. 20 divas? You guys would have fucking died.
Yeah, I had all those tokens right there, like doom.
I got diva. I got a diva token.
Control C, paste 20 times. Control V until you die. A diva for you and a diva for you.
I mean, it's obviously my intention was you guys know how strong. Generally, you know how strong a diva is.
Yeah,
you know what they can do.
That was like their basic like angel like soldier unit.
Yeah, and so. Hopefully, the idea would have been that you know what 20 of them can do if you decide to pick a fight.
I would have feared so many divas.
Although, to be fair, I think it would have been real funny if you guys had picked that fight and Tim had used his 7th level spell and banished like 18 of the 20 back to them. That would have been pretty funny.
That would have been a hell of a good use. Too bad we're not doing actual XP instead of milestone, because the XP on that would have been insane.
Yep.
Go banishment. All right, cats, stop fucking killing each other. Knocked over that ornament too.
Well, they're fighting.
Oh god, they're just hissing and running around like cats. Awful. You put a Christmas tree in the house and the cats go crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my god, cats.
I heard that one.
Squirt bottle. All right. let's wrap this up. I gotta go kill some cats before they kill each other. What else about session 13?
But yeah, all that was supposed to be was just sort of that whole like sense that you guys are walking through a land that is in the middle of an invasion of some sort.
Yeah.
I like coming
that,
across the battlefield,
we had to duck
then
in.
coming across some citizens of the land that have been killed as part of it. So it's just sort of some flavor there. And that was it, really. You guys just did leveling up, you did traveling, and then you fought some slots. And you got directed to your real next dungeon.
The real next dungeon, yeah.
Not the next dungeon that you thought you were
going
going
to. The fireworks factory. Give me the slot caves. Is this, without spoiling anything, is this also from Mad Mage Dungeon, or is this a homebrewed?
It is. The one you're going into is another Mad Mage one.
Okay.
Slightly different setup.
Is this the other giant map?
It is the other, the what do you call it? Half-size token one.
Like the 10, but yeah.
Yep. I think this is the last one like that. I think the rest of them. There's one more in this whole campaign. There's one more Mad Mage map I'm using, but that map you can divide it into fourths. So I'm like, oh, I could just make each one regular size. I don't need to make it huge.
We are level. We just made 15.
Yep.
Although technically we still have to have Tim and Gillian to level up.
Yeah, technically you got three 15s and two 14s right now until the two of them level up.
Yeah, true. Through that. All right. I think that will do it for this week's Chat for the Lost Plane. Thank you, DM Chris, player Raymond. I am Eric. Thank you to all of you for watching. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you are in the U.S. And we'll see you all next week. Happy Black Friday, I guess? I don't know. Be safe. Don't
go to stores.
Don't go to stores right now. That's not a smart thing to do.
All right, later, folks.
Later.
Bye.